When I was younger, I really believed that by the time I hit retirement age, money would no longer be something I'd have to worry about. I thought the hard part would be over, that the sacrifices I made raising a family, showing up for work every day, and doing the best I could would all add up to security and peace. But the truth? For so many of us, especially women over 50, money stress doesn't just disappear, it changes. Groceries cost more. Medication prices keep rising. Rent and utilities seem to creep up every year. And those little unexpected moments, a medical bill, a car repair, a gift for a grandchild, can shake our sense of stability. And worse, we sometimes feel like we can't talk about it, because we're supposed to have it all figured out by now, right? Well, here's something I want to tell you from the heart. You are not too late. You are not the only one. And you are absolutely not powerless. Today, I want to gently walk with you through 8 heartfelt ways to live below your means in the year 2025. Not with shame, not with judgment, but with care, clarity, and the wisdom that comes from experience. Because living below your means is not about deprivation, it's about creating space. Space to breathe. Space to sleep better at night. Space to enjoy this chapter of your life with more peace and less pressure. So if you're ready to stop just getting by and start feeling stronger about your finances, I invite you to take this next step with me. One decision at a time, $1 at a time, and one breath at a time. Let's begin. Are you living above your means? Now, before we get into the steps, it's important to pause and ask ourselves a simple but honest question. Am I living above my means? Sometimes we don't even realize we are. It doesn't always look like maxing out credit cards or shopping for luxury items. It can be much more subtle. So I want to gently walk you through a few signs. If any of these sound familiar, know that you're not alone, and this video is here to help. One sign is when you get to the end of the month, or sometimes even the middle, and there's nothing left after the bills are paid. Your income covers the basics, but barely. And any little surprise, like a dental visit or an unexpected bill, throws everything off. Another sign is using savings, credit cards, or even borrowing from family just to make it through. If you've had to pull from your emergency fund, or you feel nervous every time the car makes a strange noise, that may be a sign that things are tighter than they should be. Maybe you found yourself saying yes to social invitations, gifts, or events that you really can't afford, but you say yes anyway, because saying no feels embarrassing or disappointing. I've done that too. And finally, if you feel stressed or ashamed when you think about money, or if it's something you avoid completely, that's another indicator. Because the emotional weight of financial pressure is just as heavy as the numbers themselves. Please hear me when I say this. Recognizing these patterns is not failure. It's the beginning of change. It takes courage to face where we are so we can move toward where we want to be. And by the end of this video, you're going to have 8 clear, powerful ways to begin that shift. So if you nodded your head at any point just now, stay with me. You're in the right place, and you're taking the first step towards something better. 1. Change your relationship with money. For many women, especially those of us in our 50s, 60s, or beyond, money isn't just about math. It's about memories. It's about how we were raised, what we were taught or not taught, and the roles we played in our families for decades. If you were a caretaker, a mother, a wife, a worker, or all of the above, chances are you spent years putting others before yourself. You made sure everyone else had what they needed, even if that meant you went without. That kind of habit doesn't go away easily. And when we think about living below our means, sometimes it triggers old feelings of guilt, shame, or even fear. It might remind us of times when there wasn't enough. Or it may bring up resentment about having to worry about money at this stage of life, when we thought we'd be able to relax. So here's the first and maybe the most important step. It's time to heal your relationship with money. That doesn't mean you have to become a financial expert overnight. It just means starting to treat money not as the enemy, but as a tool, a way to support the life you want moving forward. One way to do this is to get curious instead of critical. When you make a money mistake or realize you've overspent, pause and ask yourself gently, what was I feeling in that moment? Were you lonely? Tired? Trying to make someone else happy? Awareness is the beginning of wisdom. Another helpful step is to start surrounding yourself with positive, practical financial voices. Listen to podcasts that speak kindly and clearly about budgeting. Read books by women who understand the emotional side of money. Even just changing what shows up on your social media, unfollowing accounts that push spending and comparison, can help shift your mindset. You might also consider writing a letter to money. Yes, it may sound silly, but it works. Write down how money has made you feel over the years, what it's given you, what it's taken away. Then, write how you want the relationship to feel moving forward: calm, clear, respectful. Because here's the truth: you are not bad with money. You may have been untrained, unprepared, or unsupported, but that doesn't mean you're incapable. You're smart, you're experienced, and you are ready to rewrite the story. 2. Know where it's going. Now that we've started to shift the way you think about money, let's talk about how you track it. Because no matter how much you make, whether it's from Social Security, a pension, part-time work, or savings, it's impossible to live below your means if you don't know where your money is actually going. This step is simple, but powerful. Pay attention. And I mean really pay attention. Start by printing out or pulling up your last 30 days of bank and credit card statements. Go through each transaction with a pen or a highlighter. Label each one necessary, nice, or not needed. You don't have to judge yourself. Just observe. You might notice that you spent more on eating out than you thought, or that 3 different streaming services are charging you monthly and you only use one of them. The goal isn't to feel bad, the goal is to understand. Because once you understand your patterns, you can begin to shift them, gently, one at a time. If technology feels overwhelming, don't worry. You can do this with pen and paper. Write down everything you spend for 1 week. Every coffee, every grocery trip, every online order, then the little things matter. In fact, it's often the small repeated purchases that sneak up on us. You may be surprised by what you discover. Maybe you're spending more on convenience foods than you realized. Maybe gifts and family events are taking a bigger bite than expected. Maybe late fees or overdraft charges are quietly draining your resources. None of this makes you irresponsible. It makes you human. And awareness is your superpower. Think of this step like checking your temperature before deciding on treatment. You're not fixing anything just yet. You're simply gathering the information you need to make wise choices. No shame, no panic. Just a clear, honest look. And if you find something that really surprises or upsets you, remember, you can change it. Starting today, you have the power to decide where your money goes. It doesn't have to disappear without your permission anymore. 3. Make a real budget. So now that you've taken a good, honest look at your spending, it's time to turn that information into something powerful. A real, working budget. Now I want to pause here because the word budget makes some people shut down. Maybe in your mind it means restriction, sacrifice, or maybe you tried budgeting in the past and it felt too complicated or overwhelming. That's okay. You're not alone. And this time, we're going to do it differently. A real budget isn't about punishment. It's about giving every dollar a job before it disappears. It's about making choices on purpose instead of out of panic. Here's how to start. Write down your total monthly income. That might include Social Security checks, pension payments, part-time income, or any regular support you receive. Be honest and round down slightly, just to be safe. Next, list your absolute necessities. These are your must-pay items: rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, medicine, insurance, transportation. Write the actual amount next to each. Then, list your regular minimum debt payments, if you have any. Now, subtract those necessities from your income. This will show you how much is left to work with. From there, you can start making intentional choices. You can set aside a small amount for savings, even if it's just $5 or $10 a month. You can choose how much goes toward gifts, dining out, or entertainment. You're in charge. And here's a powerful truth. Even a small surplus, $20 a month, can be the beginning of financial breathing room. It adds up. It reduces stress. It gives you peace. Don't worry about making it perfect. Don't worry if it takes a few tries to get it right. Budgets evolve. Life changes. What matters is that you're facing the numbers instead of avoiding them. And if you're more visual, use tools that help you feel in control. You can draw your budget in a notebook. Use colored pencils. Create categories with envelopes. Or if you're comfortable with technology, you can explore simple apps like Every Dollar or Good Budget. The most important thing is to make your budget yours, not your neighbor's, not your daughter's, yours. This is your life, your goals, and your peace of mind. 4. Cut gently, not harshly. Now that you've created a real budget and can clearly see where your money is going, it's time to make room by cutting back. But before we do anything drastic, I want to say something important. This step is not about living in lack or punishing yourself. It's about gently releasing the things that no longer serve your peace or priorities. Start with the easy stuff. Subscriptions you forgot about or no longer use, streaming services, magazines, delivery memberships. Maybe you signed up years ago, but never took the time to cancel. Canceling just 2 or 3 of these can save you $30 or $40 a month without feeling a thing. Next, take a closer look at convenience spending. Are you paying for things that could be done more affordably with a bit of planning? For example, buying groceries in bulk instead of frequent small trips. Or cooking once and freezing meals instead of ordering takeout when you're too tired to cook. This isn't about giving up what you enjoy. It's about being strategic. You might also consider making small adjustments to your habits. Could you stretch your hair appointments out by a week? Could you find quality clothes at consignment stores instead of department stores? Could you carpool or combine errands to save gas? Sometimes it's not about cutting everything, but just trimming a little across many areas. $5 less here, $10 less there. It adds up. And more importantly, it reminds you that you are in control. Here's something that helped me. Instead of asking, "What should I cut?" I started asking, "What do I want to keep?" That shift changed everything. I kept the things that brought me joy or real value, and let go of what didn't. This process is also deeply emotional. For some of us, spending has become a way to feel comfort, connection, or control. If you notice that cutting back brings up sadness, resentment, or fear, be kind to yourself. Those feelings are real, and they are welcome here. You're not greedy or irresponsible for feeling them. You're human. The goal isn't to live with less. The goal is to live with only what matters. So you have more time, energy, and peace to spend on what truly feeds your spirit. 5. Pause the spending cycle. If you've ever found yourself thinking, "I'll just grab one small thing. It's only a few dollars," you're not alone. I've done it too. Many of us have. And those just a little moments can quietly become habits that drain our accounts and build stress without us even realizing it. That's why this next step is about pausing the cycle. It doesn't mean you'll never spend again. It simply means taking intentional breaks to reset your habits and your mindset. One simple way to start is with what's called a no-spend day. Pick one day each week where you don't spend a single dollar. No groceries, no online orders, no impulse treats. You plan ahead for it. You prepare. And then you breathe. It may feel strange at first, especially if spending has become a way to soothe emotions like boredom, loneliness, or even anxiety. But that's exactly why this exercise is so powerful. It teaches you how to be still, to sit with your feelings instead of escaping through purchases, to remember that you are okay, even without buying something. Once that feels manageable, you might try a no-spend week or even a no-spend month challenge. That doesn't mean cutting everything. You still cover essentials, but you pause all non-essentials, the extra coffee, the extra clothes, the spontaneous online buys. You use what you have. You get creative. You can even make it fun. Invite a friend to join you and check in with each other. Keep a journal to write how it feels. Or create a savings jar and drop in the amount you would have spent. Watch it grow. The biggest surprise about pausing spending is that it doesn't feel restrictive. It actually feels freeing. You realize how much noise disappears when you're not constantly asking yourself, should I buy this? You start to feel more grounded, more thoughtful, more in control, and you begin to trust yourself in a deeper way, not just with your money, but with your life. 6. Find gentle ways to earn more. Sometimes, even after we cut expenses and create a budget, we still feel tight. That's when we shift from saving money to finding more income. And yes, even in your 50s, 60s, or 70s, this is absolutely possible, and often more fulfilling than you think. You don't need to start a business or work full-time. You just need to explore what's already in your hands, your time, your talents, and your wisdom. Start by asking yourself, what am I good at? Maybe you're an amazing cook, a warm listener, or a reliable babysitter. Maybe you've always loved crafting or have a green thumb. Now ask, how can this skill gently serve someone else and bring in a little income? Could you cook small batch meals for working families? Babysit for friends or neighbors once a week? Knit or sew items to sell at church markets or online? Offer companionship to other seniors who are lonely or need support? Even if it's just $100 or $200 a month, that margin can be life-changing. It can mean paying for prescriptions without worry, taking a short trip, or finally putting something into savings. And let's not forget the emotional benefits. Earning money again, on your terms, can renew your sense of purpose and dignity. It reminds you that you still have something valuable to give, because you do. Now, I want to be honest. Sometimes this step brings up fear. You might think, I'm too old, or no one will pay for what I do. But please hear me. Those thoughts are not facts. They are doubts, and you are allowed to outgrow them. The truth is, many people prefer working with someone older. You bring reliability, care, and life experience that's rare and respected. So think small, think gentle, think joyful, and ask yourself not just, what can I do, but what would I enjoy doing? Because your time is valuable, your gifts are valuable, and you are never too old to bring in a little more breathing room and a whole lot of self-worth. 7. Say no without guilt. If there's one word many women over 50 have struggled to say throughout our lives, it's this one. No. Not because we're weak, not because we don't have opinions, but because we were raised to be caregivers, helpers, peacemakers. We said yes to our children, our spouses, our friends, our communities, even when it cost us our own time, energy, or financial peace. But here's what I want you to know today. You are allowed to say no, not out of anger, not out of selfishness, but out of love, for yourself, your health, and your future. This step is about giving yourself permission to set financial boundaries. If you've ever said yes to giving money to someone, going to an event, or contributing to a cause you couldn't afford, just to avoid conflict or guilt, you're not alone. And I understand how hard it is to change that. But saying no is not a rejection. It's not cold. It's wise. It means you understand your limits. It means you respect your own needs, especially after decades of putting others first. Next time you're asked for something that would stretch your budget, like contributing to a group gift, helping an adult child with a big expense, or attending a costly event, pause, breathe, and then respond with honesty and kindness. You might say, "I love you, but I'm on a tighter budget this month." Or, "I'd really like to help, but it's not something I can afford right now." Those words don't make you unkind. They make you brave. You can also plan ahead. Set aside a small amount each month labeled giving or family help. That way, when you do say yes, it's a joyful yes, not a pressured one. This shift takes practice. At first, saying no may feel uncomfortable, but over time, you'll start to feel something else: relief, freedom, confidence. You'll realize that protecting your peace doesn't make you less loving. It makes your love more sustainable. Because here's the truth: your needs matter, your future matters, and you have every right to prioritize both. 8. Stop the comparison game. This final step may be the hardest of all, because it's not just about money. It's about how we feel about ourselves. And that's why we need to talk honestly about comparison. At this stage in life, we've seen a lot. We've celebrated with others, and we've grieved in silence. But even now, it's easy to look at another woman's life, her home, her clothes, her vacations, and feel like somehow we've fallen short. We might think, "She's got it all together. Look at her car, her purse, her holidays." And suddenly, without even meaning to, we start measuring our own worth through someone else's highlight reel. But here's what I've learned. The people who look the most put together are not always the most financially secure. Some are drowning in debt. Some are quietly struggling. Some are simply prioritizing appearances over peace. You don't see the credit card balances, the sleepless nights, the regret behind the shopping bags. All you see is the surface. And you know what? That surface isn't worth sacrificing your peace for. Letting go of comparison means remembering what you value. Maybe you don't drive a new car, but yours is paid off. Maybe you don't wear designer clothes, but you sleep well knowing your bills are covered. Maybe you're not traveling the world, but you've got time for your grandkids and your garden and your morning coffee in peace. That is wealth, my friend. That is freedom. So the next time you're tempted to compare, try this instead. Count what you have, not just in your bank account, but in your life. Your resilience, your kindness, your faith, your years of wisdom. Because real success isn't about what you can show off. It's about what lets you rest easy at night. And you, right now, are allowed to rest. You're not too late. If you've made it this far in the video, I want to say this clearly and from the heart. You're doing something extraordinary. You're choosing to look at your finances with honesty instead of fear. You're choosing to step into change, not just for your money, but for your peace of mind. And that is no small thing. I know how overwhelming it can feel to face these truths, to wish you had started earlier, to feel like it's too late to make a difference, but it's not. It's never too late to reclaim your power, to find new habits, and to create the life you deserve to live. You don't have to do everything at once. Just pick one thing. Maybe this week, you track your spending. Next week, you try a no-spend day. In a month, you might build your first real budget. Step by step, day by day, you're moving toward a life that feels more peaceful, more intentional, and more secure. You've already done hard things in your life. This is just one more. And you are absolutely capable of doing it. So take a deep breath, be proud of yourself, and remember, you are not alone. Now, I'd love to hear from you. In the comments below, share one thing you're going to try from today's video, or share a tip that's helped you live below your means. Let's support one another, woman to woman, heart to heart. Thank you for being here. You are wise, you are worthy, and your future is still unfolding with strength, grace, and purpose.